Okay, it looks like according to Zoom, we are live. Or are we? Let's see. Yep. Okay, it looks like it now. Let's see if I can pull us up over here on my channel. Yeah, there we go. My tablet is dying, so unfortunately, okay, where's the live chat at though? Am I not going to be able to see that? Why not? It doesn't even say. Okay, let's try to pull you guys up over here. Even though, I haven't been here in forever. And in truth, I have a feeling that most anybody that used to follow doesn't anymore because I haven't been doing anything. Okay, there we go. So according to my phone, there are two of you out there. If somebody would mind saying hello, just so I can make sure that you guys can hear me okay and all of that, because it's been a while. Somebody would just give me the hi sign. That would be lovely. Make sure I can at least see you guys. I'm really kind of excited about several things. And I don't even know why, to be honest with you. Okay, so I've shared before that over this entire whole last year, I have been more not here than here. I have really not paid much attention to the astrology like I used to, the daily energetics. Certainly not, like I said, not like I used to. I am still peeping in at things like that, but I feel as though it's been all about really getting in here this past year. Really feeling my edges, so to speak. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody. And then, and I have also felt the words I used the other day with a friend that texted me was, I've been feeling like a quickening for myself. And I don't even really know what that means in some ways. And then day before yesterday, Lisa sent me a video. She's not home right now. She's staying with her mother, taking care of her mother right now for a little bit while she's recovering from a bit of surgery, which is also so interesting. The things that are happening right now on this planet. I shared some of the physical things that I'm noticing, puzzle pieces that I've been gathering in our DIY Ascension live that we had last week. But I have to say, for me personally, all of these puzzle pieces are that I'm being shown from others' situations, not just strangers. These are relatives and close friends. I have absolutely now, I have no doubt in my mind that we are physically evolving right now on this planet. Anything that I'm going through when I ask the question, and I've shared this before, I ask myself the question, am I dying? And the answer I got is yes. Yes, there are parts of you dying, and other parts are being born and or reborn right now. Okay, I accept that. And then I start seeing, now that was way earlier this year. And then I start seeing puzzle pieces out here with other people, loved ones, friends, Facebook friends, issues that are happening. And a lot of folks want to take the tactic that this is being done to me from the outside. And that is a perspective one can hold. Absolutely, because it is a truth in many ways. It just is. However, in another way, it actually is not. It's a choice to believe what one is told 100% without any kind of personal experimentation, to put one's faith in another being. Oh, because they went and got the education and they got the letters after their name, they know more than me. Interesting. Thank you, Coincidence Cafe. She says, yes, ma'am, I too believe we are evolving right now. Oh, yes. I'm telling you, I've lost count of how many different bodies I have been in. And I know as a logical person, that sounds Looney Tunes to someone who hasn't taken any time and really studied themselves. I get it. And, luckily I'm 62 and I can be written off as a crazy old lady. That's your choice. Personally, I feel it might be, not a wise one, but again, that's my opinion, just my opinion. Uh, and personally, I feel like I will ignore myself at my own peril. So, you can take that for what it's worth. But there's just too much. There's too many puzzle pieces being shown to me. I reported that I have a loved one who, and by the way, they're still waiting. Just think of the story I told you about the dog, the man, and the rainbow. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm telling you, I really wish you would come and have a chat with me. Again, recorded or not, I'm kind of over that. Oh, Jennifer Brown, I'm so glad you've joined us. I've kind of, no, not kind of, I have relaxed. There's a lot of people who don't want to be on camera. And I get that, for whatever reason, that a person doesn't want to expose themselves to the internet at large. I get that. And everybody gets a choice. So it's not a requirement to A, show your face, B, say your real name, or even actually be recorded. I don't even care anymore. I want conscious conversation. Why is that? And I'm telling you, the whole point of Conscious Conversation Central was to bring these sorts of conversations into the mainstream. I am so tired of hearing people talk about the woo woo and I can't be myself because they'll think I'm crazy. As long as we continue to have that sort of an attitude about what it is that many of us know to be true, then that will continue to be reflected to us. There's one thing that I noticed, and I didn't actually notice it myself. My friend Crystal Hemphill had to point it out to me. And she's correct. And I now fully embody that. I am a catalyst because what you see is what you get. And I am the same person right here that I am anywhere else. And anyone who actually knows me personally, who has tuned into this channel, will tell you that's a truth. And since Crystal and I now have had a in-person relationship where I've gone and stayed with her at her house and we've gone out in public together and shopped and things like that, she knows that to be true. And if you think for one moment that when I'm out and about, when I see a puzzle piece, oh, I point it out. I don't care if nobody else gets it or thinks I'm crazy or not, because dun, 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 that's none of my business, by the way. What other people think of me, none of my business. And I can't do anything about it because I know now very clearly there is a different version of me that resides in each being's consciousness, because your experience of me has more to do with you than it does with me. I didn't know that for the majority of my life. And it kept me small. It kept me in a box that I will no longer allow myself to be kept in. I did it to myself, so I can't blame anyone else. But now that I see it, I can't unsee it, and I won't do it anymore. I never really did to the degree that I see others doing it, because at 490 pounds, there's not a lot you can hide about yourself. And, you start to get that kind of attitude. Well, I'm here, just deal with it. But I do know, I absolutely, because I had to ask myself, why is it that I can be the same person, but other people experience me quite so differently? And that made perfect sense to me. Why is that? It's because each one of you, including myself, are in this physical vessel, in this moment of now, are a point of awareness of the mind of God, if you want to call it that. I don't particularly care for that because it seems to be sort of a hot trigger word that gets people all kind of excited, myself included in the old days. But each are a point of awareness of the mind of the all that is. In my view, this has been a natural occurrence. Life seeks out change. It's constant. That's the whole thing about energy. It's a constant flow. Everything is in flux. Nothing stays the same. That's been something that we all know it, but we don't know it, if that makes any sense. And so I was exposed earlier in this week to an idea. Well, first of all, I started seeing these puzzle pieces. Oh, good morning, Stacy. I'm so glad you could join us. I started seeing these puzzle pieces around that had to do with a split, a timeline split, right? And now many channelers have been getting what I feel is the exact same information, just again through their own perception filters. And I am so, so, so glad. I actually was exposed to a wonderful conversation yesterday, which I am linking in the puzzle pieces playlist on my channel here, because It was an excellent conversation about geometry and what I would term creational mathematics. I know that some of the information is derived from the information from Ashiana Dean, and I really don't know much about her or her information except to say that at one point in my life, I was apparently very drawn enough to purchase her books. I have them on my shelf over here. I've never opened them. So when I started seeing some things about something called a time wave spiral and how there have been these sort of overlapping timelines, one that follows the Fibonacci spiral and one that follows something called the Christ spiral. I won't pretend to understand in my logic mind all of what they're saying, but there's something there. There's a puzzle piece there, at least for me. May not be for you, but it is for me. It may not be the entire presentation, but there is, because here's the thing, and I loved hearing this young man, Britt, in one of the geometry videos that I'm going to be sharing with you from a channel, which, listen, when Lisa shared this with me yesterday, and the name of the channel is oh gosh, I have to find this because they spelled it exactly the same as we have now for our new channel. If you're not aware of the new channel, please do go over and subscribe. It's newlightstreaming.love or New Light Streaming Love on YouTube. The actual, see, I can't hardly do two things at once anymore. The actual website, because we did secure a name, is new, and it's KNEW. That's why I'm looking for this channel, because I wanted to share it with you guys. I don't have it linked yet, but yeah, New Geometry. And they spelled it KNEW, just like we did. And I have to tell you that for me, that's another puzzle piece that that this should come into my field at these moments. And hearing these two fellows speak about the geometry in the ways that they were speaking was so refreshing, because I heard my words coming out of Britt's mouth more than once. He was talking about how everybody's getting the same information, but they receive it through and he was speaking specifically about Ashiana Dean and her information coming through her. Anybody, I think we're all channeling. We're channeling our own divinity, and we're picking up on other portions of our divinity. Okay, that's very interesting. I was being called to that painting back there. My mother painted that in the 80s. I'm seeing a face in that. I've never seen that before. How interesting. Actually looks a bit like a receding hairline Christ figure, if you ask me a little bit. But anyway, I digress. So that was very refreshing to hear these two speaking on topics. And one of the things I noticed, and this has always been my thing, any of you, well, all of you that have chimed in have followed me since Conscious Conversation Central. So you guys all know that I have always felt as though the first thing and the most important thing is to be open to new information. We cannot do anything we've done before. Apparently, it's all been tried, it's all been done. So nothing here can be fixed. It's all working exactly the way it was designed. Every system you think is broken is not broken. The difference is now you're getting to see how it actually operates because the energies have changed. And you're older now too. There's that. Um, oh, thank you. Thank you, Coincidence Cafe. I wondered if anybody else could see that. But and I've looked at that picture a lot, sitting here in the camera and being in this is my bedroom. So of course I spent a lot of time in here. Never seen that. Today is the first time. So that's very interesting. Well, oh, okay. I just heard, well, didn't you just okay. Well, I revealed something to somebody locally here this morning that and I had no intention of saying this, but she's the gal that helped save my life with water. And I was speaking to her this morning and I said to her, I said, I almost said her name. I said, honey, I know for a fact that I was led to you and to this water to keep me here because I am a messenger. And she's highly religious. So I would never have said that before. So what I got when I asked why now, and that conversation was flashed because I have to accept the fact. I will be honest with you guys, that's part of the reason I haven't been here much. Because, there's that old bailiwick. Sheila's got strong opinions. And I know this to be right for me. Now, what I do know is that it can't be and won't be right for everybody, where I didn't used to feel that way. Okay. I used to feel like, well, if it's true for me, it's got to be true for you because there's only one thing or the other. Not if you can think multidimensionally, not if you can admit that the being who resides in the other is just you from a different perspective. And the only reason that it couldn't be is because it's not meant to be necessarily. That's why everything has to be a choice. Every single thing is a choice and opinion. Choices and opinions. That's all we got around here. Honestly, I think the more fluid I start to see that, hey, it's only true if I think it's true. And that is the way it is. And we can all sit around and pretend that that's woo-woo if we wanna. But personally, I can't and I won't. I'm done with denying all that sort of thing. Sips coffee. So anyway, I said I titled this timeline split ? Frequency shifts ? Phoenix energy ? How are you? So how are you guys that have chimed, that have joined me now? And thank you for joining me because I came on here the other day and there was nobody the entire time. And I mean, I do it anyway because I do this for me and because I'm driven. When I'm driven, I'm here. When I'm not driven, when it's not my highest joy, I'm not. That is also the beauty of not trying to monetize anything for myself. I'm sorry, are any of y'all paying me? No, you ain't. Therefore, I am free to be me. Oh gosh, Lisa showed me that. I'd never, I'm older than she is, and I hadn't ever heard of free to be you and me. Boy, that I just cried through that whole thing. The other part too for me is that, okay, so two different places, and then and I don't know, I think it was Lisa's team that put this in front of her. Yeah, because the first video she sent me was actually 2 years old. And it wasn't in the algorithms because the fellow said even he has now done, I haven't gone to his channel, but he did another video, which I watched yesterday, just like the day before. It was a very brand new video. And he had said that that he had been getting a whole lot of information, a lot of people asking him to do another video based on the video that I saw. And he hadn't been doing videos for a while, a long time actually. And so that's a puzzle piece too. It wasn't in the algorithms. And I didn't ask Lisa. Lisa's not home right now. So I bet that's what that was. I bet her, because that happens a lot. She'll ask the team, what do I need to know in this moment of now? And they will put something in front of her. And wow. For me, there was a lot of puzzle pieces in all of this. Now, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, uh, earlier this year, I had an experience where I thought we had experienced an earthquake here in North Carolina. And what I was told internally was I was experiencing a time quake. And I was flashed a vision of different instances and iterations of this being, Sheila, kind of rolling up from this way and this way. And it felt like this. I was sitting on the toilet. Little TMI, but that's the truth. And the toilet went like this. What the hell? And I was told timequake and was given that visualization. And I recall Magenta Pixie's books. Oh, this one doesn't have it on it. Where she has, what many would call an asterisk or whatever. I've been shown so many different iterations of that to say that, again, we're all getting the same information, but we're getting it in a manner that hopefully the little us will understand and be interested to seek more. Because that's the important part. To believe what I get and seek more. And I keep being reminded, knock and the door will be opened. I'm telling you, I've kept these books out from my bookshelf because I'm telling y'all, for me, the books that have come into my purview in the last couple of years here, the books that we're studying, are so important. At least they were for me. And I will share them with you. And if you feel drawn, please do investigate them for yourselves. See, I'm convinced that moving towards these sorts of feelings, the joy, the curiosity, I find joy in going and looking and following the Coincidence Cafe said, that is so weird, Sheila. A few seconds before you began talking about time quakes, I had one right here, right now. It's almost like being nauseous. Yes, ma'am. Because as I said to you, I was, and it was so wild. So, well, cool. I'm telling you, I feel as though, again, you got to be open to hearing everybody's information, right? Because they're getting it from themselves, the higher part of them. But especially if they've not really been in touch with themselves, like me, I will point back to those of you that have actually commented here know my silly story about me getting information from me that Corona was going to go viral, and I assumed it were my YouTube channel. Only to find out a couple of years later, no, not so much. I think there was something else with that name that went viral, but the information wasn't wrong. It was my interpretation and reporting of it. And so as soon as we all open ourselves up to see, sense, feel, you are another iteration of me. having a completely separate experience. I'm sorry, how sexy is that? But that is the ultimate in, oh my gosh, yes, I want you to have your own experience because it colors the whole that much more. It informs the whole, right? Okay, I don't know. I get off on these tangents. I'm so excited and energized. Uh, and I appreciate it because I'm feeling it, I think probably also from you guys. But anyway, and I'm going to show these to you in the order in which I feel like they were relevant for me. Okay. The Jeshua Channelings by Pamela Cribbe or Cribbe. All right. Now, I have to go back and check over on Conscious Conversation Central on Rumble, which I bet some of you may or may not realized I had. Um, I'm hoping that these are there in their entirety. I'm not sure if they are or not, but I did receive permission from this channeler and I recorded this book in its entirety. And chapter for chapter. And so you can read along to me, that was the most validating piece of information I could have got. It explained to me why I called myself a dark worker, why I don't feel to charge for anything that I could gift anyone, because the universe is going to take care of me, and it sure has so far. I mean, this has been and then right after that, a new viewer, which, good gosh, I gotta go back in my email and find, because I bet he does not even know about this channel. Now, I wouldn't normally, and maybe I shouldn't. Yeah, okay. I thought better of that just then. You see, I never told any of y'all. I mean, I might have made an announcement on my Facebook page that I was starting this new channel. But other than that, Conscious Conversation Central had over 2,000 viewers, subscribers, I should say, right? When that was taken down. And I did have and I still do, I have everybody's email that asked to be added to my email list. But I got the guidance that anything and everything I do has to be by magnetic attraction. I'm not trying to sell you nothing. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just here to say my truth. What has worked for me and gather puzzle pieces from you. That's my gig. That's what brings me joy. Now, if folks that it's not to say that I don't accept love offerings for my services. I am a BQH practitioner, and I read cards, and I read runes, and I do artwork, and little guys. I've been trying to develop a snowman, and here's his hat. Isn't that adorable? I cannot wait to get this finished. It's actually going to be a gift for my granddaughter. I'm hoping to get it finished before she comes. She's going to come and hang out with me tonight. So, but at any rate, sorry, I digress. I had a viewer of Corona Rising who was not a viewer of Conscious Conversation Central, sent me this book and sent it as a PDF that was being read by a robo voice. Okay, well, gotta say, the minute I started reading this, all I had to do was read the jacket, and I knew, it was, I had to, right? So that one too has been recorded. And I think it is also over on Rumble. And all of these will be going up at New Light Streaming Love. All right. So you can find them there. Now, this one, there is a huge story with this one. And this one, I cannot get over the synchronicities that keep on happening with this one. This one came into my field. I could go back and look, but it's been more than a year ago, probably almost 2 years ago, when I'll probably almost to the day, because I've noticed some of my things kind of go in seasonal cyclical cycles. I noticed that the other day for Crystal Hemphill too. Okay, so came into my field, I wasn't drawn. Lisa was drawn and read the first volume and the second volume. Uh, she didn't share a lot of it with me at that point in time, or if she did, I don't recall. And I don't even really remember what prompted me to move on to this, but something did. It drew me enough at the time that it came into my field that I purchased the book. And see, that's a sign for me, right? I now know myself well enough. That's a sign there's something there. And maybe it's not time. Maybe I haven't been exposed, or I haven't put enough puzzle pieces together of something else already in my field, but I got it in my field for a reason, right? So I picked it up and I started reading it, and the synchronicities that were happening with this one. And I knew when I bought it that eventually I was going to have to record it, because that nudge came to me, right? And like I said, they keep happening. These synchronicities keep happening. Recently, my birthday was October 14th, and that entire week, I don't think I recorded. I went and visited my sister, and I was doing other things. So there was at least a full week where I didn't read or record, because I'm reading this book and recording it at the same time. And now that didn't happen with Soul's Journey. That one actually was being read for the second time over most of it. Lisa and I read it together almost in one day. It was so fascinating. At any rate, I picked it up to re-record. I was nudged to begin. And I had such an experience with it that I had to share. There's been two of them, I think, that I shared on my Facebook page out of order, because I'm in book 2, and the channelings were in the 20s, I gotta say, right? And so, but I had an interaction with a friend on Facebook, and I very rarely comment on anyone's stuff anymore, because I do realize nobody's wrong. Everybody's right for them, for that moment of now, for exactly where they are. And who the hell do I think I am trying to tell them anything about anything? Because they're having their own experience, right? But there does, now I'm getting to recognize when it feels I'm supposed to. That's all I can say. Because it's very rare anymore, specifically unbidden. Okay. I'm a projector, and that's also one of the reasons why most projectors are pretty much hated. And most of it's because we're seers, and we think everybody is seeing the same stuff we're seeing, because it seems so common sense to us. Why are you getting this? Sorry, can't you see what I see? There's a lot of that goes on in my field. Tell me, anybody who knows me personally before I started on this path recognizes what I just said. Okay. Why can't you see what I see? Well, it's because they're looking at it through a completely different lens, a completely different experience. that has been colored by every experience they have experienced as long as they've been in that body, and all of their other previous lives that they don't even know they're being affected by. That's my take on the situation at this point. So I very rarely comment on someone else's page anymore. But this one was actually a conversation in regards to consciousness. And I can't help it sometimes when I I I see things that are like, unconditional love that comes out with except for this over here. And it wasn't that, but that's one good example. In this particular case, it had to do with the law of attraction, the law of allowance, right? And choices and sovereignty. And, the fact that we are creators, we create our reality. And I don't know, it was very interesting that I said what I said. And then that very next morning, I was nudged to record. And I don't know, I think it was the second or third one in. There it was. The exact same information, really, that I was getting there, I got from here, which somebody else got from themselves. You see what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. So very interesting where, oh, on. I see where I see you've joined us unless you had to leave. Fawn, I want everybody to go to Fawn Denmark's page too. Fawn has begun to be quite the channeler. The Blessing of Zara, card number 39. I love this color scheme. I love, I just absolutely love my Remy deck. It's so expressive. And this is one of those decks that I was nudged to buy. And I don't know, it's like, especially these are the colors that I often see behind my eyes when I go into meditation. They're not as swirly anymore as they used to be. And they also have like a blue electrics in them sometimes. I don't know if you guys ever get that. So how is everybody? Nobody's actually saying how they've been. I mean, I know that there's been a lot of energy coming to the earth because, hey, apparently we had some red auroras here in North Carolina. Hello, Fawn. I'm so glad that you were able to join. Like I said, Fawn has been bringing through some really great stuff over on her channel. You guys owe it to yourself to go over there and check it out. I am going to have a live Saturday night to talk about, because supposedly in some of these videos yesterday and today was predicted to be, and I love it when they give dates. So let's just see what happens, right? That the 8th and 9th, and this fella that did it 2 years ago said that it was November 8th and 9th. And then but I had already seen somebody else that channels the Pleiadians was saying something about a timeline split. And I can't recall if they actually gave a day or whatever. They may have. But, my own information with integrations of other iterations of me from timelines that are closing down, that's the information I've been getting. So, they're, again, just all puzzle pieces. And I know that with all of this energy that's been bombarding the earth, Well, there's absolutely something to that too. So that's why I titled this the way I did. And I really want to invite anyone who has observations, experiences that they'd like to share. I'm actually thinking I might do a short sort of commercial and put it out that so it's shareable. I wish it was easy to do some editing. I'm not guided to edit, but if I knew how, I could at least take, excerpts of this and just send it out as a short, but I don't know how to do that. At any rate, the invitation is this. I am planning to do a live Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The time has changed now here in the Northern Hemisphere and on the East Coast back to Standard Time, the real time, or what my childhood would have said was the real time, because I was alive when they changed it. But the only question will be whether I do it here or over on New Light Streaming Love. Now, I would prefer to do it on New Light Streaming Love. I have to test it between now and then. Haven't been successful. We're having light code downloads. I would not doubt that on any sort of level, Fawn. Not on any sort of level. I just would not doubt that at all. On any sort of level. And I'll tell you why too. Well, it's not my story to tell. I know people who have now shared with me that I know, or at least I think I did, shared the incident where I had, because I think I did, because I think somebody tried to tell me, well, that's retinal detachment. Okay. Well, I'm still not blind, so I don't know about that. And I'm open to it being retinal reattachment, okay? But at any rate, I had more than one occasion for it start, and it always does start in my left eye, and things always start on the left for me. And it was this half circle C, right? On this portion of my eye, and not anything I could see in the mirror. This was in my vision. And this was, I want to say earlier this year or late last year. I believe it was late last year. At any rate, all these geometric shapes. And I asked the question, I said, because the first thing I thought of was Quetzalcoatl, supposedly the feathered serpent, because the geometric pattern design on whatever this was showing itself to me in my eye was so brilliant. And all the little, it was almost like triangles, but it was within this rope C thing. Like I said, it was very Quetzalcoatl to me. Okay, ish. Ooh, think Alex Gray art, but with a Quetzalcoatl flair, perhaps. And it was doing this really interesting thing in my eye, right? It was like moving around, and it started really, really small, right? And it eventually, and it never overtook my full vision, right? Now, at the time, I didn't know what to think, and I actually didn't ask myself, what is this? I don't think I did. I just said to Lisa, this is what I'm experiencing, and I described the whole thing, right? I've gotten to the point now where I ask myself everything I want to know. I don't ask anybody else. I just ask myself, and it's really become quite quick. Almost to the point where I don't even have to ask. I'm getting an answer, and I think that's part of how, for me, getting to me and trust me and be able to hear me, this has been part of my process, right? First, it had to become a habit that I ask myself instead of somebody else. Because it's, you get told not to trust yourself from jump, so it's really tough to, but you can do it, right? Good morning, Heather Hanson. I'm so glad you could join us. I do the same. Yes. Well, it's been a long time getting here to where it's become a little more automatic because, and luckily I had the loving housemate that would say, "Oh, so what did you say? Did you ask? What did you get?" Right? So it was very helpful. Well, I got more than that out of that, right? Because now I see that honestly, anything that anyone could do for themselves is ask themselves the questions. I kind of feel like the time for asking others, it's quickly being shown on the planet if people can catch that energy, that to put anything in the hands of another, you're taking a risk, man. You know, it's just it. And it's not because they're evil or mean or whatever. I mean, it depends on your perspective, but it has to do with, I think sovereignty is the name of the new game. And the only way to be sovereign is to assume accountability, a responsibility, and liability for everything you do, participate in, think, feel, everything. And I see it now from my perspective, that it is wholly my choice from my perspective. Okay, so I'm going to share this card, The Blessing of Zora. Like I said, I love this deck so much. Um, have a magical day, sweetie. I'm so glad you could stop by, Fawn. I hope you can join us on. Well, I'm not just looking for folks to join me live. I'm looking for folks who want to come and have a conversation live on camera. Again, I'm not trying to get somebody who doesn't want to participate, and I'm not looking for somebody that wants to. And please believe me, I am very open to hearing all ideas because I now know that it's just that being's perspective. I don't have to be at odds with your perspective. I have no idea what your soul, the larger fractal of you, because I truly feel we have a step down process. How do we go from all one into, this single point of focus? I think there's a step down process, just like in electricity. You think that electricity comes into your house straight up? No, it goes through a step down process. Could you imagine that much divinity in a physical vessel? I'm sorry, the word kaboom kind of comes to mind. At any rate, that's what I'm looking for this time around to do live, just to have a conversation. If you feel led, if nobody feels led, I'm still going to do it because I want to. So, and I'm going to promote that one so that more folks who do want to come and have a conversation will come and have a conversation. So, the blessing of Zara. Let go of thought. Don't take it into your heart. You are naked and thought is like ice. You use thought to seek release from suffering and pain. While thought is the cause of your suffering and pain. And it's a choice. And depending on what your experience, you desired experience is, you know, I can't help but go back to that, The Little Soul in the Sun by Neil Donald Walsh. If you've never heard that, I don't think it's linked anymore because this is a new channel now. I got to go find that video. I will put that in the puzzle pieces playlist as well. There's another lady that's reading the poem from Neil Donald Walsh called The Little Soul and the Sun. And oh, talk about if you have a hard time with evil being on this planet, and yet you feel like you're a very loving, unconditionally so person, I highly suggest to listen to that and just feel it. Allow it to permeate. It was one of the biggest things for me to help me see, oh yeah, oh, I hadn't even considered that. We make a lot of assumptions when we judge anything. The next time you find yourself in any sort of way, now I have a right to discern things about what I want to experience in my field. So don't get me wrong, I do judge as to whether or not I want to participate. But I don't judge you for what you want to do. It's none of my business. Because I have no idea what you wished to experience, nor what you're doing, how that affects something else. I've said that a million times. Don't think I haven't been abused by, well, husbands a lot in my life. Neglected. Oh, poor me. Right? You don't get to be 490 pounds from not a traumatic experience. Right? But it's all choices. I see that now. Because I couldn't have if one thing had changed, I would have been one of those that was rolling up in my time quake. So I'm thankful to those beings. I actually am grateful. What they did was a sacred service. But a lot of people have issue with that. So I don't know. At any rate, I'm going to back this up. You use thought to seek release from suffering and pain, while thought is the cause of your suffering and pain. The realm of creation is outside the scope of thought. O foolish one, see the opus and behold the beauty. Look in the direction from which the images flow. See the brook that causes the wheel to turn. I'm sorry, maybe it's a function of my being 62 and I have the benefit of some hindsight. But I couldn't agree more with that. I wish to pull that false confection from your mouth. Oh, I know you will open your mouth even wider to scream, like a terrible cry of a toddler denied. But the moment you open your mouth wide and draw breath to bemoan the outrageous travesty of your loss, I shall shove my divine finger, dripping with nectar, into your gaping mouth. I'll let you suckle then, surprised and contented by the sweetness that surpasses all other sweets. When we are hungry, we reach for what food is available. If we are starving, we may gorge upon what is before us, only to find ourselves overfed, undernourished, and in a most uncomfortable and dissatisfied state. I resemble all that. Your soul needs better quality food. It has been detoxing. You have been shedding old thoughts, feelings, pains, and struggles. That's true for me, anyway. Memories of the past have been flooding out of your soul like parasites being expunged. Ooh, there's a lot of that going on right now. And now your soul, thus cleansed, is in need of genuine nourishment to restore it to full radiance and vitality. Well, isn't that interesting that all of a sudden Sheila feels the need for a conscious conversation? Imagine that. I cannot believe that. That is so awesome. See, this is why I love this. This is why when I feel drawn, there's a reason. Wow. Love will feed your hungry soul. Nothing less shall suffice. No sweet talking charmer, hell bent on seducing and moving on will make the grade. No, it has to be nothing less than genuine romancing by the great beloved to feed, comfort, and nurse you into radiance. Well, I know that's been the truth for me. Only that divine finger dipped in the heavenly honey can be taken in by your soul now. And that's what I mean by it's all choices, and everyone makes their choices. And I want everyone to make their own choice. There'll be no hostages on my journey. Thank you very much. Including me. I'm certainly not going to make my own self a hostage. That's for sure. As I have done that consistently in my life. Believe you me. But there shall be none of that moving forward. So, only that divine finger dipped in the heavenly honey can be taken in by your soul now. All else will seem as empty junk by comparison. But can we summon the strength to overcome habitual and mindless attempts at feeding on lesser substances? Oh, yes. The great beloved shall storm through the kitchen and with military precision clear out the cupboards, for only the best and the finest, most decadent and delicious shall do for you. This oracle comes with special guidance for you. You are being given a blessing of Zara, of radiance, of brightness. This blessing has a purpose. It is to clear out that which would obstruct your full unfoldment, to support the divine jewel of your soul in shining. Wow. I want y'all to know that earlier this week, I saw, and I haven't read the full article, but I saw something by Alex Miles. I think she writes for empathplanet.com about how what we've put out is about to return to us. And she used the word karma. Now, I've been shown where karma is not exactly what we all think, but that's for another time. You are being given an opportunity supported by life, by the earth, by the grace of the divine beloved to shed toxins from your being. That's very interesting. These may be physical and they may equally be of emotional, psychic, or psychological origin. Now, I feel like this statement right here is going to be true for almost everyone listening to this, because there will be a perspective of what is said here that will resonate for you. It may not be the full statement, but there are several things in here for me, like the physical. I've been preparing myself to go on an actual fast. And then also, I have been on an emotional and psychic detox. Ooh, a psychological one as well, I feel. They may come from this or another lifetime. That's the other thing. We just can't make assumptions about stuff because we don't know enough. I'm sorry, anybody on this planet, including those with the letters after their names, none of us know enough. Not really. You may understand consciously what is being released, or you may not. If you are sensitive, you may feel symptoms of detoxification at a physical level, even if what you are releasing is emotional or psychological in nature. Personally, for me, they are one and the same. As this body is a physical manifestation of the divinity that inhabits it, the divinity and the thought processes together are what, for me, again, for me, because I know I've experienced within this vessel being able to change things at will, especially with using my thoughts. Um, it takes a long time still because I don't have the kind of focus that is required for it to be immediate. But I've always said I feel that coming, right? So if you are sensitive, you may feel symptoms of detoxification at a physical level, even if what you are releasing is emotional or psychological in nature. Louise Hay believes that all disease has a root in thought. I can't disagree. You are encouraged to complete. Now, I don't do sacred honoring rituals. Not somebody else's. So they are calling for a sacred honoring ritual of yourself and the detoxing. I feel like that's a good idea, but I generally don't share those. I will say what this says, but I don't share that. If you feel like you want it, I will be happy to send you a picture of it. Just reach out to me. I've done that before for those who feel drawn. So if you have been unwell or struggling to let go of an issue, this oracle comes as, oh, wait a minute. No, I skipped. You are encouraged to complete the sacred honoring ritual, to stay adequately hydrated and to be moderate rather than exercise in your approach. Give your body and mind time to rest and replenish so that blessing can be fully received. If you have been unwell or struggling to let go of an issue, this oracle comes as a portent of imminent healing back to good health and of release of the issue into resolution and divine radiance. It is only a matter of timing, and that timing is imminent. Yeah, I don't want to. This depends on one's perspective of what healing and release actually is. Okay. Sometimes the most healing thing that can happen is release of the physical vessel. And I know that's really, really hard on those that are left behind generally, right? But I was led to see that here, and all of this comes through each's own personal, perception filter. And this could have something to do with the fact that my 87-year-old uncle passed on Monday. I didn't actually get to know him very well. I didn't know he even existed until 2015. But he was like very much like my dad, and it was rather sudden. If you can call 87 sudden, I don't know, but he'd been ill for quite some time. So, sometimes that's the best thing for the being is to just release all, right, and surrender to whatever the actual plan is. See, I feel like there is a plan. Another reason I've left that up. because it's all metaphor. There is a plan, there is a divine plan. Trust and believe. At least that's what I keep being showed. And I'm in control of mine, you're in control of yours. Believe you me, we got this well in hand. This oracle also brings you the message that if something appears to be leaving your life, even something painful to release, it is because it is no longer healthy for you or no longer supporting of life for you. There is something more loving and beautiful awaiting. Do not try to feast on scraps. Stop scraping in the dirt for stale bread crumbs. Rise up and move towards the seat at the heavenly table gleaming before you, for a greater feast awaits your attendance. I do feel that's true, man. And I feel like whether it's because of a timeline split, because of, like I said, almost everything feels like metaphor to me. And so I do see this as a choice. We can spiral up in frequency and begin something completely different. Little shout out to Monty Python there. And now for something completely different. Or we want to spiral down. These are the choices I feel being offered to planet Earth. Now, spiraling up means sovereignty, taking responsibility for everything that goes on in your life. And that includes everything. I mean, just everything. I don't even know how to go about that. And the spiraling down, everybody has an opinion about that, right? But again, we have no idea. We make a lot of assumptions about stuff based on our experiences on the planet. Man, as soon as I started opening myself up to actually seeing, oh God, that guy's an asshole because he has been treated so poorly in his life. All his life, he's been treated like an asshole by somebody. Or he was terribly wounded and now he's acting out as his wound through his woundedness or her woundedness. And I have no idea what has taken place in these beings' lives. None whatsoever. So again, boy, that's so, I certainly don't want anyone making those snap judgments about me. So I'll not be doing that for anybody else either. Anyway, that's it for this one, guys. I really hope that you guys will take a look over there at New Light Streaming Love on YouTube and Rumble and Instagram. And I think we're New Light Team at New Light Team on X. Crystal's just got us all over the place. She is so jam up at this. She's way better at that than I ever was, which I am so grateful for. I knew when I had that vision in 2017 that eventually a team that wanted something completely different to offer the public would come together. Those who are solidly secure within themselves and can see that everybody has a different perspective. I was one of the least allowing people in my life, in my sphere of people. I'm telling you, when I think back to the person I used to be and the person I am now, it's like two completely different people, two completely different people. And I just love who I am now. So at any rate, I hope that I will get some emails to say, yeah, I want to join. I'll come be in your Zoom. Reach out to me at consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com. If you're a friend of mine on Facebook, you're free to message me. This one, I do ask that, you don't have to show your face. if you don't want to show your face, but you want to participate live and be on a recording that will be, on the channel. Well, the one thing I have to say is we have to be careful because, YouTube will take it down. So, and I don't know how to go live on Rumble yet. Maybe I could try to figure that out too. I don't know. But anyway, I just want to talk about the timeline split. Okay, nothing that hopefully they could censor us for, but I maintain I was censored over from Corona Rising because of my name and because of the fundraiser I was doing for Crystal. Because I wasn't saying anything. There was no reason given. It wasn't because of the medical stuff. It wasn't. They just said I violated their policies. Yeah, and so I went to go read their policies. Well, if you put a link in your show more section, that's a violation of their policies. Everybody does it, but now they've made it so that they don't have to have a reason to take you down. That's reason enough. And so, at any moment, I could disappear off of here. So, at any rate, thanks guys for listening to this go on for more than an hour. And I hope that you will join me on Saturday at 8 p.m. somewhere on the internet. Not sure where yet, but we'll see. Mwah. Till then, be well. And I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. I think it's a matter of perspective.